Hello there, Wise Dragon here. So, pandering to a select audience of people who find things offensive in video games is a thing, and has been since people have had the capacity to be offended. Most recently regurgitated in the form of Tracer's form in Overwatch. I mean, so many people were afraid of that ass. Jeez. Now, before we get into this video, let me just say something that you, as an educated person, will probably already know and have heard expressed by others already. If you don't condone something, especially in a video game, choose to ignore it. Pay no attention to it and get on with your life, like you do with most things. In summary, fuck off. This little discussion is going to follow one of the underlying points of this fiasco, and that the apparent misogyny in video games, not feminism, misogyny, because they're two entirely different things, seems to be misinterpreted and blown way out of proportion. So I've decided to analyse one video in particular in order to give everyone an idea of how ridiculous this sort of thing is, and how it's portrayed in the eyes of the media. The video in question is what it feels like to be a Gamergate target. It came out around the beginning of last year, and it sparked a whole bunch of memes and controversy for its biased views on people who play video games and how they act towards women in general. There's a lot of other videos that follow similar idiocies from these people mentioned, and I'll leave some links in the description because it's been exposed by many others already, and I'd have to make my own fucking website to cover it all. The news conglomerate, ABC, has apologised to everyone for how shit the report was, but the fact they thought it was worthwhile news in the first place is a joke, because it's more akin to propaganda. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like this kind of video, then I'll do more of them. I mean, I'm still going to do like gameplays and stuff like that, and game news and what have you, but I felt like I needed to do some sort of variation on my channel, so yeah, if you're fond of this, then leave a like and stuff and comment and I'll do more. But I've talked enough already, so let's just watch the video.
For Anitas Response, this is the new normal.
Yeah, because this doesn't seem like a complete waste of time for these officers. So, Chief, you want us to go out and fight crime today? Nope. We want you to escort some chick around town when she expresses her wrongly justified views on people. So this is what taxpayers' money's funded, is it? An escort service.
It's Anita's first speaking engagement since threats of a shooting massacre forced her to cancel her last appearance.
The police determined these threats were petty enough to be ignored, and that business will be conducted as scheduled. Still, Anita cancelled the conference, most likely to garner a bit of sympathy. But I feel more sorry for these idiots that have to listen to her.
The harassment became part of what's now known as Gamergate.
Oh my god, lock away your children, because this failed ideal of a fair and biased contribution within gaming journalism's gonna get you. If you've been naughty, Gamergate's gonna eat your babies.
But Gamergate doesn't just affect boys playing in a basement.
Boys playing in a basement? Who wrote this shit? Let's reinforce the stereotype that all boys have to hide underground if they want to host a Street Fighter tournament with their friends. We're all just a bunch of sweaty losers living with our parents, that's what we are, yeah, sure.
And what might surprise you, there are now more adult women playing video games than there are teenage boys.
So, bullshit statistics aside, ABC states boys are a minority in the video game world, which also confirms it's only a small number of people that do this sort of shit they're advocating against. They're also the ones most likely to harass girls who play games because they're immature little pricks that don't know any better. If you've played Call of Duty Online, you'll agree with me. Also, why the two games they picked to drive this point home, these two? They have strong female characters in them. Let's just pick two random games that look good enough to put on TV because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
The sense of violence against women being used as almost background decoration, right? As texture.
Hold up. There's a bunch of bums in the background of this poorly made shot and they're both male. Let's not forget you can create your own character in the game in question, and you could play as a woman. Plus, millions of women play this game and shoot blokes in the face, but oh no, we're not going to mention any of that shit. Oh no.
Women like Brianna Wu, an independent game developer, was even driven out of her home.
Is it just me, or does it look like they're recording this footage in Brianna Wu's home? So this is an invalid statement. I mean, that's just lazy on the part of whoever picked the locations to film this piece of garbage. Well, it's ABC, so yeah.
So far, the Gamergate harassment against Brianna and other women like her has remained online.
And that's where 99.9% of it is going to remain, because as we covered already, these threats are coming from kids hiding behind anonymous profiles. If you want to blame anyone for their behaviour, it's their parents. Why are they even letting their kids play these games? Hashtag bring back the belt. Oh wait, that might offend some people, so let me backtrack a bit there. Hashtag hugs and kisses.
I think a lot of it comes from this idea that gaming is a male-dominated space, right? And that games are for men, by men.
What a load of bollocks that is. There are plenty of women in the gaming industry. That's like saying ballet's for women by women, when in actuality, the first ever school of ballet, and the turnout, which is referred to as the 5 positions of the feet, utilised in ballet to this day, were invented by Pierre Beauchamp. A man.
Watch what happens when the men in this online session of Counter-Strike.
Oh, so they're not boys anymore, they're men now, huh? Do these sound like men to you?
Are you an archaeologist? Because I have a big bone that needs examining, Mrs. Pretty Lady.
And given that women make up nearly half of this country's gamers...
Wait, wasn't it previously stated that it was 36% or whatever? Or do you just not give a fuck about your own information? Honestly, did anyone watch this in the editing room before they put it on air? It's ABC, so I'm gonna say no.
We've reached out for comment multiple times, but thus far, we've received no reply.
I'm just going out on a limb here, but I'm gonna assume Rockstar and Ubisoft took those inquiries on board and decided that they were pointless and a waste of time. And they were right in doing so.
Time to see, how would a woman look at this?
Wow, Tim, are you saying there's not enough strong female characters in video games? I could write an entire list. I could go on and on and on and on and on. Some of my favourite video game characters are women, and I've played all those games and I've really enjoyed playing them too. Come on, Tim, you've dug a big enough grave already these past few years, so just stop, alright? Now I want you guys to pay close attention to what Chris has to say here. Not because he's a man, but because he's the only person to talk a bit of sense in this entire news segment.
You can't judge gaming by what's selling. You have to really get into the medium to understand it before you start saying, well, this is what gaming is about. I know in the real world there are strong women that don't need to be saved.
Congratulations, Chris. You're a well-informed, rational human being. Good on you, mate.
How do you respond to critics who say, well, this is fantasy, this is not reality, you have to lighten up?
Yeah, that's a fun argument.
Well, I've got to call out that bullet dodge of a response. No one should emulate anything they do in a video game, because video games at their core are an escape from reality, just like books, movies, TV shows, whatever. I play G.T.A, but you don't see me jacking cars and firing RPGs at pensioners in real life, because I'm not a fucking moron. And believe it or not, that's the most challenging question proposed to Anita in this entire interview. It's like, oh no, we can't ask her some serious questions and, you know, call her out on some of the bullshit she's saying, because ABC seems to be fucking, like, misogynist as well. I mean, this doesn't even feel like an interview, it just feels like they're just giving Anita all the TV time, and, like, there's hardly any questions really, like, being proposed to her. It's just fucking garbage. She may as well be reading off a teleprompter.
Games have a huge impact on our society.
I think you'll find society has a huge impact on games as well, Anita, especially in G.T.A, which you like to slander so much, because that's a parody of American culture and society. It's just, oh, God. This is where the report kind of dribbles out, and, you know, this video's long enough anyway, so I'll wrap things up here. The point I'm trying to get across here is that this kind of journalism and the perpetualization of inequality between genders, not just in video games, but in life, it just needs to stop. Death threats and verbal abuse to anyone, that's anyone, who plays video games should be reported immediately. There's been too many insane and preventable tragedies to even believe, let alone count. And it may sound like I'm exaggerating, but in rare cases people have actually died because of this. I've had death threats playing video games online, and I'm sure most people have experienced something similar. And it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, child, toaster, or anything in between. It should not be tolerated. Just don't do what Anita did and pocket off of fear-mongering and wild misconceptions. That's wrong no matter what you stand for.
She's trying to capitalize on controversy.
I won't go any further, so you can make up your own minds. After all, this is just my opinion, and just like our souls, we all have one. Unless you don't, in which case, how'd you let all that crap out? Like I said before, this isn't the first instance of Anitas Sarkeesian's, like, mad ravings about games and the gaming world and how it's portrayed for women. I mean, you can go check out her blog if you want, but I don't recommend it because it's all bullshit. I kind of enjoy making these kind of videos, and hopefully it's been a bit informative and entertaining, so yeah, like I said before, if you want to see more, leave a comment or shit like that. I don't know. Anyway, until the next one, toodles.